Components are awesome, but as soon as they're used across different files, they can become out of sync and need to be manually updated. As design requirements change and components become more complex, this quickly becomes problematic. In this video, I'm going to show you Figma's Team Library feature, which allows users to share components across files and teams as well as keep instances of components synchronized. This ensures that when a master component changes, all instances can be easily reviewed and updated to reflect those changes. Let's see how this works. Inside any file, you'll notice that there's 3 tabs in the left sidebar. There's the Layers tab, the Components tab, and the Team Library tab. You can quickly navigate between these tabs by holding the Option key and selecting 1, 2, or 3. Let's use Option 2 and head to the Components tab. Here you can see all of the components in our file. When you're designing in the Layers tab and create a new component, they will appear over here in this tab as well. Let's create a component for our close icon. I'll select the object and click Create Component up in the toolbar. You can also use the Option-Command-K shortcut. Notice the new component has been added to our Components tab. If you'd like to publish this component to your team library, you select the component, right-click, and select Publish One Component. You can also hold Shift-select multiple components either on the canvas or here in the Components tab. Right-click and publish multiple components. If you'd like to publish all of the components within your document, select Publish File to Library just below the components. I'll go ahead and do that now. We now have all of our components underneath the heading of Published in Library. If you change your mind and need to unpublish a component, just make your selection and click the minus icon that says Remove from Library. When I remove this component from the library, it's moved into a section called Private to this file. You can re-add this component at any time by selecting the plus icon that says Add to Library. If you look in our Components tab, you can see that our components are grouped. This grouping, such as recording, comes directly from the name of the frame or group that it belongs to. Now let's go ahead and see our components in action. Here I have a separate file that I'd like to use these components in. I'll use the Option 3 shortcut to quickly access the Team Library tab. Here I can search for our component's name, or I can navigate to a specific file where the component lives. Let's grab our X icon from the list and drag it onto our canvas. I'm now using an instance of the Close master component, which lives in another file. Keep in mind that this is an instance rather than the master component itself. So what happens when the master component is updated? Let's head back to the original file, make a change, and see. To get back to our previous file, we can always open that file or right-click on our component and select Go to Master Component. Perhaps our team decides that our close icon should be red going forward. I'll select the component and then change the stroke to red. After the change has been made, the thumbnail in the Components tab has been updated. And just above that, we have a blue square that says Publish One Change. This allows you to publish your changes for the entire team. Another nice feature is that we can also add a description to the changes we make to our components when we publish them. This is great when changes being made are subtle or need to be clarified. With our component selected, we'll head to the Properties panel. Under the component header is the description field. I'm going to add the description changed to red. And now anyone using an instance of this component will see that description when they update. Let's go ahead and publish that change. In the Publish as Change window, you'll see a nice visual indicator that shows the changes you're about to make. In this case, I'm going to change this white icon to red. The change looks good to me, so I'll go ahead and select Publish Changes. The notification in the bottom right says, one change successfully made to the component, so we know that it worked. Let's head back to our other file and see the update. Over here, we see a notification letting us know that updates are available. We can select Dismiss or Review. I'm going to select Review. Our team pop-up window shows the new state of our component. If we had updated several components, we would see all of those updates listed in this window as well. If you hover over the component, you'll see the description we added back in the original file. I like the change, so I'm going to go ahead and select Update, or we could select Update All in the bottom right. The instance of our component has now changed to red. If you were paying attention, you probably noticed that some of our components were a bit difficult to see. In our Components tab, we have a white icon on a very light gray background. We actually have a very simple way to address that. We can change the appearance of these components in the preview by adding these components to a frame on the canvas and adding a background color to that frame. I'm going to use the F keyboard shortcut and drag out a frame around these components. Then I'll change the background color of the frame to black. When I change the frame background to black, the preview in the Components tab also changes to black. It also grouped these components and named them Frame 2. We can quickly change that by heading to the Layers tab with our Option 1 shortcut and changing the name of the frame to something more meaningful, like Controls. Option 2 will take me back to the Components tab where I can publish these changes. Figma's Team Library feature is a great way to share components across files and projects and always keep your components up to date.